So, Shalom Aleichem. Can everyone hear me? Am I loud enough? Hi. Shalom Aleichem. A guten Abend. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Happy Chanukah. A freilichen Chanukah. Ich heiße Sharon Power. My name is Sharon Power, and I'm a member of the UJA Committee for Yiddish and a Yiddish teacher and translator here in Toronto. Seid begrüßt. Welcome to our program. I'm excited to spend some time with you this evening, helping you put a little Yiddish in your Chanukah. Or as I've also dubbed our program, put a little Chanukah in your Chanukah, right? So, my lovely assistant this evening is the marvelous Cyril Troster. Hello, Cyril. And I see Bambi Katz from the Committee for Yiddish is also there. Hello, Bambi. She's providing you all with program booklets, and of course, they were tremendously helpful technically this evening. I'm going to show material from the booklets on the screen. So there are some of you joining us online who may not have a booklet. Don't worry about that. All the materials will be shown on the screen. And we're going to upload the booklet later to our website, committeeforyiddish.com. So you can always go and download it later if you want your own copy. Cyril and I and the entire UJA Committee for Yiddish are thrilled to be part of this first Ignite Tikkun Le'il Chanukah Festival. And we want to express our special thanks, Yesher Koyach, to Sharon Sibani and Holy Blossom Temple for organizing and hosting the festival and for providing us the option of meeting online. So what are we going to be doing in our program this evening? Hopefully. Everyone can see on the screen? Yeah, good. So we're going to learn a couple Yiddish Chanukah songs, one of which you might be familiar with and one of which you may not know. We will be reading the story of Chanukah in Yiddish and learning some key terms. We will be learning how to make latkes in Yiddish and how to play dreidel in Yiddish. Now, some of you may already know some Yiddish. You might be familiar with some of the words and the phrases you'll hear this evening. And some of you may not speak any Yiddish, which is fantastic. My hope is that by the end of this program, you'll know a few more words in Yiddish than you started with, and you'll be inspired to learn more about Yiddish language and Yiddish culture. So we're now going to start with our program booklets. So let's all turn to page 2 if you've got a booklet. If not, I will show it on the screen and learn a Yiddish Chanukah song. This one we're going to sing.
Sharon, sorry, at the top of the title page, it says Seid begrüßt.
Yes.
Is that welcome?
It does mean welcome. Yeah, and feel free to ask questions. We won't have a lot of time for questions, but I'm happy to answer questions. Thank you, Gail, for asking. Seid begrüßt, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for asking. So we're going to learn a Yiddish Chanukah song, probably the most famous Yiddish Chanukah song. You know it in English too, Chanukah Oy Chanukah. And first, before we sing the song, we're going to sing it. I thought let's take a look at some key terms, some key customs. We call them minhagim. We have that, it's a Hebrew word, and we use it in Yiddish too, minhagim, customs, which I've pulled from the song itself. So these are some of the key words, our first Yiddish words for the evening. So these are some of the things we do Chanukah site, right? These are some of our customs. So tonight in particular, we're going to see Essen latkes. A little spotlight. Essen latkes. Azoi. We're going to see Spielen in dreidel. Azoi. And I think you can all guess what those mean, probably. We are going to see in all of the songs, another popular Chanukah custom, tanzen in kon. Tanzen in kon. Yeah, and you can guess from the picture, a kon is a type of circle dance. And we'll see 3 different types of circle dances in the songs this evening. It's pretty common, and tanzen, to dance. The other phrase in the song I pulled out is zint on die Licht. Zint on die Licht. Yeah. So you can guess what that means, right? It means to light the candles. Licht are candles, and zint on is to kindle a flame, to kindle a candle. No? So you would say das Jingel, the boy, zint on die Licht. Yeah? So we'll see that in our song. The other word I pulled out of the song, very important for Hanukkah, as we'll see, is in the song, we'll see the plural, dinisim, and the singular, dernes.
Yes.
Dernes. You've probably heard that word before. What does it mean?
Miracle.
Miracle, right? And we'll see in the song the plural miracles. Yeah. So let's take a look at the song. I'm sure many of you know this song, but we're going to go over the words kind of slowly, just for our own purposes. So I'm going to read the words really slowly, and we'll go over to make sure we understand. And I'll maybe read it again, and then we will attempt to sing it. Okay. So the words are Chanukah, Oy Chanukah, yeah. A yontif, a sheiner. So everyone knows what yontif is, right? Holiday. And what is shein? You heard that word? Beautiful. It's a beautiful holiday, right? A lustiker. You may not know lustig. It's not exactly like the English. It means cheerful, cheerful. Una freilicher. Have you heard freilich? Happy, joyful. So it's a cheerful holiday. It's a happy holiday. Nishto noch azeiner.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like
Yeah,
it.
that means literally there isn't any other like it. Yeah. Alle Nacht in Dreidlich spielen wir. Yeah, every night. Yeah. Exactly. Every night we play dreidels. And in Yiddish we say wir spielen in Dreidlich, as you'll see. Yeah, wir spielen in Dreidlich. And frische heiße latkes essen onashir. And those, you can see how these are English cognates, right? Frische heiße latkes, right? Fresh, hot latkes. And we eat them. How do we eat them? Onashir. Yeah, onashir. Ashir is a unit usually of time. It's a lesson. It's a religious term, but sort of without measure. It's a measurement of time. So without measure, without end, endlessly. Yeah. The second little verse, it says geschwinder, just a little bit old-fashioned, but it means quickly. Okay. Yeah.
Like the wind.
Like the wind. Sind Kinder, and Kinder's a little interjection, so we don't know what the verb is till we read till the end. Sind Kinder die Chanukah lichtelig on. So here's where I pulled out that phrase, right? Sind on die Licht. So he's saying, children, it's a command, light the candles quickly, right? Zucht al Hanisim. You may know al
Tell
Hanisim.
about the miracles.
Exactly. It's a prayer that we recite on Hanukkah and Purim. So zogn is to recite a prayer in this case. And what do we do in the prayer? Loit Gott ba di nisim. Right?
Thank God for the miracles.
Yeah, loit means to praise. Praise God for those miracles. And lomir alle tanzen in Chon. Yeah, so here's the last phrase I pulled out. Let's all dance in a circle. Yeah. So how do we feel? We like the words. Do you want me to read them through again one more time? It probably isn't new to anyone, but let me read them one more time and then we'll try singing them. So you follow along. So Chanukah, Oy Chanukah, a Yontiv, a Sheiner, a Lustiker, a Freilicher, Nishto, noch a Zeiner, alle Nacht in Dreidlich spielen wir frische, heiße Latkes essen on Ashir. Ja. Geschwinde sind Kinder, die Chanukah lichtelig on, sucht al Hanisim, läuft Gott bald die Nisim, und lomir alle tanzen in Chon. Now, the joys of Zoom, it does tend to make it very hard for us to sing together, as you may know. It's possible, but it does sound a little strange, but we'll try. If we can't do it, then I'll sing and you can sing along in spirit, So probably you know this song, but let's sing it. So, Chaneke, oi, Chaneke. Oh, that's too high. Sorry. Yon tif ashene alustik afreile nishto nochazene.
Everybody's muted.
I know, because it's a mess altogether. So, okay.
Oh,
Okay. It's okay. Let's try again. We may have to mute. Let's mute everyone except me. That's no fun for me, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm done. So I'm going to mute you, Gail. So I'm going to try to sing it. I think I'm singing it too high, huh? It goes, Chaneke, oi, Chaneke, ayon tefashener alustiker afreilicher nishto nochazener alle Nachten dreidlich spielen mir. Frische, heiße Lacke setzen ohne Schir. Geschwinde sind Kinder, die Chaneke lichterlich on. Zogt al hanisim loibt Gott die nisim und lomer alle tanzen in Korn. Then it repeats the last three lines. Zogt al hanisim loibt Gott die nisim und lomer alle tanzen in Korn. Yeah, good. So Asherim Dag, you can unmute yourself now. You can unmute. Yeah. So this is Chaneke oi Chaneke. Cyril, can you unmute the room? Oder Emetzer? Ich will euch hören. I want to hear you.
All right.
Yay. Any questions, Frages? Yeah. This one you all know. So, Adang. So a Yiddish Chanukah song, as best we could sing it on Zoom. So the next thing we're going to do, if you turn to the next page in your booklet, which is page 3, is Die Meise von Chanukah. Die Meise von Chanukah. So this is sort of fun. I've taken a simplified version of the story of Chanukah, Die Meise von Chanukah. I've given you it in oisias, that's what we call aleph base, the Hebrew letters, and in transliteration, which is the English version of Yiddish. And I've put a few little translations. You can see if you have a booklet, a few little key terms. And so we're going to go over the story a couple times. And even if you don't speak any Yiddish, I bet you'll understand more than you think. We're going to understand a lot of it. Before we read the story, a few key terms. Who are the people? Who are the places? What is our story about? So the people in our story, right? Dimension. We have die Griechen, right? The Greeks, yeah. We have Antiochus. Here he is right here. Antiochus on your screen, right? Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth, right? He was der Melech, the king at this point of the Greeks in this part of the world. And where does it take place? Eretz Yisroel, right? And so we, instead of, Eretz Yisrael, we pronounce it in Yiddish, Eretz Yisroel. Here you can see it, Eretz Yisroel. And Yerushalayim is also very important, right? Yerushalayim. And in Yerushalayim, as we'll see, where's the location that's the most important for our purposes, right? Der Beis Hamikdash. Der Beis Hamikdash, the Holy Temple.
Where are you?
It's not on the screen. You'll see it later. Zorg sich nicht, do not worry. When you see it, you'll know. Der Beis Hamikdash, right? Yeah, we're going to go through it slowly. And on the other side, so we have the Griechen. On the other side, who do we have? Die Yidden. Die Yidden. Yay. And unser Held is our hero. Unser Held, Judah HaMaccabee, right? Judah HaMaccabee. So he's coming in the story a little later. We'll see him, look out for him when he appears, right? And we can be excited about it. So those are our Charaktoren, right? Our characters. So we're going to read the story. I'll read it. You can follow along. I'm going to read it slowly, and then we'll read it again and see how much you picked up. And I'm going to explain it as we go because I want us to understand. So let's read the story. Die Meise von Chanukah. Die Meise von Chanukah, the story of Chanukah. So, Amol haben die Griechen geherrscht in dem Land Eretz Yisroel. Amol is how we start all of our Yiddish stories. It's kind of like once upon a time, right? It means once at one time. And I've given you this verb, geherrscht. They ruled. Where did they rule? In dem Land Eretz Yisroel. Huh? And die Griechen haben gehabt, that means they had, they haben gehabt a schlechten Melech. A schlechten Melech, Yovu, was hat geheißen Antiochus. And do is there, that's a bust of him from a museum in Berlin. No, Antiochus, boo. And hat geheißen means that was his name. No? So let's see what happened next. Antiochus hat gewollt. This is an important verb. I didn't give it to you. It means he wanted. You'll see it in a few places. So Antiochus hat gewollt, als alle Völker sollen werden Griechen, become Greeks. That's what he wanted. And alle Völker, all the peoples under his reign. And he also wanted them und dienen griechische Götter. Does anyone know what that means? Dienen griechische Götter? It means to serve or to worship Greek gods. Götter is the plural of God. Yeah, so that's what he wanted. Yeah. Alle Völker haben getan, they did, wie hat gesagt, like he said, aber nicht die Jiden, nicht die Jiden, right? What did they do? Die Jiden haben gewollt, here's that same verb again, they wanted, bleiben Jiden. They wanted to stay Jews, and that meant hitten die Gesetzen von der Teure. Hitten die Gesetzen von der Teure, which means keep the laws of the Torah. In Yiddish, we pronounce it Teure instead. Yeah? Okay, what happened? Der schlechter Melech is beis geworden. He got angry. What did he do? Yeah. Hat geschickt Soldaten kein Eretz Yisroel. You can probably guess what's Soldaten from the English. Schicken to send, and this is an illustration of the siege of Jerusalem, of the Greek soldiers, right? Hat geschickt Soldaten kein Eretz Yisroel. He sent his soldiers. And long story short, die Griechen haben reingestellt, which means to put in or to install, reine Sachen in dem Beis HaMikdash, amongst other things, right? Rein, impure. Rein means pure, rein, impure, Sachen, things. You know, they did slaughtered pigs and all kinds of things, idols, right? Impure things. And where did he install them? In dem Beis HaMikdash. Here's our important Beis HaMikdash, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. Yeah? So die Jiden haben gemacht an Aufstand. You know? Die Jiden haben gemacht an Aufstand, an uprising. They made an uprising. And der Führer, the leader, yeah, der Führer von die Jiden is given Judah HaMaccabi. And here he is in the picture with the Jewish army. Sein Nomen meint der Hammer. You know that, right? Sein Nomen meint der Hammer, the hammer. Why? Because hat geschlagen die Griechen via Hammer. Geschlagen to beat them, yeah? Also, Judah HaMaccabi und seine Armee haben vertrieben die Griechen von Jerusalem. This is, again, long story short, it took several decades, but he drove out the Greeks from Jerusalem. And with the Greeks gone, die Jiden haben rein gemacht. Here we see that word again, pure. Rein gemacht den Beis HaMikdash. And here we get to the point of Hanukkah. In Beis Hamikdash is given a menorah. There was a menorah. They haben gewollt anzünden die menorah. Here's that same verb. They wanted to light the menorah. But es ist do given Bäumel nur auf ein Tag. There was only, Bäumel is oil. There was only oil for ein Tag, one day. Es ist geschehen a nes. Yeah? A miracle happened. Der Bäumel hat gebrannt for 8 Tag. Yeah? So, yeah. And die Jiden haben gemacht a Yontif, Chaneke, was meint Banayung. The word Hanukkah means Banayung, literally making something new again. In this case, rededication or renewal of the temple, right? The repurification and rededication. So that's what Hanukkah means. Banayung, yeah? Making something new. Yeah, we're all clear in the room. Any questions right now? We're going to read the story again. So I'm going to read the story. Yeah, I think we have time. I'm going to just read the story slowly, see how much you understand now that we've gone through it. And some of you may not speak any Yiddish, but I bet you understand more than you did if you looked at it before we went over it at least. So die Meise von Hanukkah. Here we go. Amol haben die Jiden geherrscht in dem Land. Die Jiden, I wish die Jiden, yeah. Amol haben die Griechen geherrscht in dem Land Eretz Yisroel. That's a fun slip, yeah. Die Griechen haben gehabt a schlechten Melech, was hat geheißen Antiochus. Antiochus hat gewollt, als alle Völker sollen werden Griechen und dienen griechische Götter. Alle Völker haben getan, wie hat gesagt, aber nicht die Jiden. Ja. Die Jiden haben gewollt bleiben Jiden und hitten die Gesetze von der Teure. Der schlechte Melech ist böse geworden und hat geschickt Soldaten kein Eretz Yisroel. Die Griechen haben reingestellt reine Sachen in dem Beis Hamikdash. Die Jiden haben gemacht einen Aufstand. Der Führer von den Jiden ist gewesen Judah HaMaccabi. Sein Name meint der Hammer, weil hat geschlagen die Griechen wie ein Hammer. Judah HaMaccabi und seine Armee haben vertrieben die Griechen von Jerusalem. Die Jiden haben rein gemacht den Beis Hamikdash. In Beis Hamikdash ist gewesen a Menorah. Sie haben gewollt anzünden die Menorah, aber es ist da gewesen Bäumel nur auf ein Tag. Und es ist geschehen an Nes. Der Bäumel hat gebrannt für 8 Tage. Die Jiden haben gemacht a Yontif, Chaneke, was meint Banayung. Das ist die Meise von Chaneke. Ja? Sehr gut, sehr gut. Are there any questions in the room?
Yes, can you hear me? I have a
I
question.
can, sure.
So Reina and Reina, is that how you make the negative with the is a prefix?
Commonly, yes. So exactly, it's like un in English, un, or dis. Right. It's a negative prefix, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
And I have another question, if you don't mind. Bottom of page 3, the second last sentence. Base geboren. What does base mean?
Oh, base means angry. It can also mean mean or cruel. In this case, angry. Ja, is base geworden. There's a few ways to say angry. Is broiges. You might know that word, broiges. Oder in kas. Yeah. Here is base geworden. He did get mean too. He got mean too. Yeah. Yeah. Good. So now I hope we have time. we're gonna zip it along. Now we're going to learn how to make latkes. Afidish, lomer machen latkes. I think this is fun. So if you if you have a booklet in front of you, that is on page 5. I've given you the recipe. Now, this is a recipe adapted from the Molly Goldberg Jewish Cookbook, which is my family's favorite recipe. Beautiful recipe. You can buy, it's from 1955. Lovely cookbook and a beautiful latke recipe. So I thought, why mess with a good thing? You're welcome to use it if you like it. I like it. And so in our booklet, we have the English too. So if you don't want to read it in Yiddish, you can follow along the recipe in English, but we're going to learn it in Yiddish, right? Wie soll macht man latkes auf Yiddish? So the first thing we need to know is, was darfen wir? What do we need? Was darfen wir, right? Die Ingredienten. So I'm going to go over the ingredients, and I've done them on my slides. So wir darfen, the first thing we need, wir darfen 4 Kartoffeln. 1, 2, 3, 4 Kartoffeln. Yeah. And I'm going to translate this as little as possible, because I think if you can see the screen, you should be able to understand what we're talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4 Kartoffel. Abgeschält. You see, can you see what he's doing? Abgeschält und zerrieben. This is an important verb, an important adjective for latkes, zerrieben, right? Everything in latkes is zerrieben, grated. And this device here is called a ribeisen. You're curious?
And we still call it that.
A ribeisen. Yeah, zerrieben, grated. Ois, if you look in our recipe, also ausgetrocknet. I didn't think that was a very exciting picture. It means drained or dried out really well. Ausgetrocknet. So 4 Kartoffel. Was noch darfen wir? What else? Was noch? Wir darfen 1 Zwiebel zerrieben. Ja. 1 Zwiebel zerrieben. Wir darfen 1 Löffel Salz. 1 Löffel Salz. Und a Viertel Löffel schwarzer Pfeffer. Ja. Wir darfen an A. Some of you may pronounce it an I. I pronounce it in standard Yiddish an A. Zerschlagen. Here's that schlagen verb again, right? Yeah. Slightly different schlagen, but similar. Yeah. Zerschlagen. Beaten up, exactly. Wir darfen 3 Löffel, 1, 2, 3. 3 Löffel Kartoffelkrochmel. This is krochmel gemacht von Kartoffel, potato starch. Man kann nutzen Mehl. You can use flour. Ich rekommendiere krochmel. Es ist besser mit krochmel, I think. I recommend the starch. 1, 2, 3 Löffel. Ja? Und a halb Löffel Backproschik. Proschik is any kind of powder. So Backproschik, baking powder. Exactly. So lomer gehen. So the erste Satz, our first step. Wie soll macht man? I'm going to go over them again. Right? So the first step. Wir mischt zusammen. Mischt zusammen. Ja, mischt zusammen. 1, 2, 3, 4 Kartoffel, abgeschält und zerrieben. Ja. 1 Zwiebel, zerrieben. 1 Löffel Salz und a Viertel Löffel schwarzer Pfeffer. An A, zerschlagen. 3 Löffel, 1, 2, 3 Löffel Kartoffelkrochmel oder Mehl, flour. Und a halb Löffel Backproschik. Mischt die alle Ingredienten zusammen bis glatt. So smooth. And did you notice something about the Löffel and the Löffele? Just pointing that out. Maybe you haven't noticed. A Löffel in Yiddish means just a spoon. But in recipes, a Löffel is used for a tablespoon. And a Löffele, which just means a little spoon, is used for a teaspoon. So these are precise measurements. Yeah. Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, you've seen that before, maybe? A Löffel and a Löffele, a spoon and a little spoon. But in this case, a tablespoon and a teaspoon. So wir haben Mischechts, let's say. We now have a batter. We have a Mischechts. What do we do now? Wir darfen Fett. We need some sort of fat. The recipe calls for a halb Teppel Backfetts. That's actually what the recipe calls for. Backfetts, you can guess, literally baking fat, shortening. Aber es ist Chaneke, ich nutze Boimel, right? I think Boimel makes a lot of sense, right? Oil, right? So you need some sort of fat, oder Bachfetz, oder Boimel. So what do? Mir heizt on, so heizt on dos Backfetts in a patelnia. This is a patelnia. Yeah? Heizt on, we heat it up. Meshiterein, which just means put in, meshiterein dos Kartoffel mishechts, often leffel, by the spoonful, and me preggled up, it's a fun sounding verb, preggled
Turn
up,
over.
fry it.
Oh, fry.
Preggeln means maybe
Fry.
gepregelte cibulas, fried onions, right? Preggled up, really fry it up, bis zebroint auf beide Seiten. Zebroint. Here you can see, tricken gut ois. Here on this here she's doing that ois tricken and she's drying it out. Or he, right? So me heizt on in a Backfetz, heizt on die Backfetz oder Boimel in a patelnia, and me schitterein dus mishechts, and me pregelt op bis zebroint auf beide Seiten. Nachdem serviert, right? And me serviert mit Fleisch. You can do it just as a side dish, that's what they say. Oder, maybe you're more familiar with this, oder mit smetne, oder mit apple compote. Yeah, apple compote. So these are our two side dishes. Smetna is a soured cream, right? Apple compote is apple compote. That's why, yeah, applesauce, you can guess, yeah. So, das ist wie soll zu machen Latkes auf Yiddish. Sind du Fragen? Are there any questions about the procedure, about what we've done making latkes, or the language that I've used? Just
Wel, is Essen de latkes?
Sicher, avada, efsherheit. Maybe you'll have latkes later. Who knows? So, so because we're a little shorter on time because we started late, I would go over it again, but we're going to move on because I think you get the idea. But before we move on from latkes, I wanted to point out, if you turn to the next page in your booklet, I thought maybe kartoffellatkes are not exciting enough for you. So die seien ungewöhnliche latke ingredienten. Ungewöhnlich, unusual, out of the ordinary, uncommon. And ich habe sie gefunden auf dem Internet. I found recipes, ich habe gefunden Rezepten mit alle die ungewöhnliche Ingredienten. I did a little Googling, ich habe gegoogelt und gefunden Rezepten. I found recipes with all these interesting ingredients. So I thought, wouldn't that be interesting to give you some of these terms? And obviously all of these are going to be zeribben, right? So we have meren, carrots, zucchini, kuze, which is butternut squash, yeah. Wurzelceleria, I even found Wurzelceleria latkes, yeah.
Celery? No.
Celery root, a Wurzel is a root, Wurzelceleria. Batate, a süßer Kartoffel, batate, there's a separate word for it. Blumenkreuz, beautiful little word, a Blumenkreuz, right? Kreuz, you know the word kreuz? Means a cabbage. Like a Blumenkreuz is a flower cabbage, a blooming cabbage, you know, cauliflower. Ich habe euch gefunden mit Käse, Cheddar Käse oder andere Käsen, right? Cheese, Cheddar Käse. Und ich habe gefunden mit Jalapeno Pfeffer, yeah. If you're curious how to spell jalapeno in Yiddish, I looked it up, Jalapeno Pfeffer, yeah. Und ich habe gefunden alles, was ist scharf und pikant, we say auf Yiddish, scharf oder pikant, spicy. So mit Chili Pfeffer und, you know, Cayenne Pfeffer. Und ich habe euch gefunden mit Curry Proshek. You know, we saw Bak Proshek, powder, curry powder. That's really out of the box, thinking deep, you know. So these are ungewöhnliche Latke Ingredienten. Yeah. Any frages? Anything else you make your latkes with? It's a little strange.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms, schwimmlech, oder schwemmlech. I remember that word because it means it's like little swimmers, schwemmlech. Yeah, that is a little strange. That is ungewöhnlich. Yeah, yeah. Ich hab lieb Kartoffellatkes. You know, why mess with a good thing, right? Yeah. So it's Lomergain I think I'm gonna, wir haben nicht kein Zeit für dem, meine ich. This is the next, it's on page 6 in your booklet. These are a few useful mealtime expressions of Yiddish. I just want to point out for us Canadians, sehr wichtig für uns, very important for us, sei so gut, right? Please. Adank, thank you. Anishto farvos, you're welcome, right? So if you want to ask for the latkes, you can just say sei so gut, give me die latkes. Der sei so gut die latkes. You can even just say that. Adank nishto farvos. And you could wish someone mit a guten Appetit. When you serve them your latkes, serviert die latkes und sag mit a guten Appetit oder Essgesinntheit. Essgesinntheit, yeah.
Good health.
Yeah, eat in good health. Yeah. It's also an excellent cooking program by the Forwards on YouTube. I recommend it. Essgesinntheit. Excellent. Yeah. So the rest of those you can enjoy on your own. Lomir spielen in dreidel. Yeah. Lomir spielen in dreidel. So I just wanted to point out, not that dreidel is particularly a Yiddish thing, but there are some interesting things you can do with the dreidel if you know Yiddish. Most importantly, the dreidel actually tells you the rules. If you're not a Yiddish speaker, you might not know that, but it's true. So let's review. Lomir spielen in dreidel, right? That means let's play dreidel. So you all know this is a dreidel, and it's got 4 letters on it. Quick review, right? Nun, Gimel, Hey, Shin. And this stands for the Hebrew phrase, which is written here in Aleph Beis and here in transliteration. So here, Nes Gadol Haya Sham, right? A great miracle, a miracle great, Nes Gadol Haya was Sham there. A great miracle happened there. So ostensibly, that's what the dreidel tells you, that if you play dreidel and you remember these letters, Nun, Gimel, Hey, Shin, you're going to remember the message of Hanukkah, the miracle. But in fact, there's another message in a dreidel, and it is the rules to the game. So I thought I would show you that. So now you never will forget the rules again. I don't know if you ever did forget the rules, but in case you do, you never will, as long as you have a dreidel handy. So I'll show you, right? Nun, which stands for Nes in Hebrew, in Yiddish stands for nit or nisht, which means nothing. It's like the negative particle not in English. So it means you do nothing. Everyone knows dreidel, you've got a pot of mandlin or rozenkes or geld or something, right? And you put in and you take out. The gambling game. So if it lands on nun, you do gurnisht, you do nothing, right? Nit, do nothing. If it lands on gimel, which stands for gadol, but in Yiddish it stands for ganz. Ganz means all or everything. So you take the whole pot. Yeah? If it lands on hey, in Hebrew that's haya, the past tense of to be, but in Yiddish it stands for halb. We saw that in our recipe, right? A halb lefele bak proshik. It means half. Half. So you take half, yeah? And if it lands on shin, which in the Hebrew stands for sham, in Yiddish that stands for stel or stellerein. Stel means to put. Stellerein, put in. You put in 1, right? 1 marker, whatever it is. So these are the rules, right? Nit, ganz, halb, stel, nes, gadol, haya, sham. So it's kennt ihr spielen in dreidel auf Yiddish. Any questions? Yeah. Anything anyone wants to add about dreidel playing in Yiddish? No? Well, on that spirit of dreidel playing, we're going to now learn our second song, right? This is the final part of our program. And I can stay afterwards to schmooze and answer questions, but we're going to listen to a song. This time I have a recording. You're right, we don't need to sing it. And this is a song you might not know. So it's on the same page in your booklet, page 7. I'm going to put it on the screen. It's called Dreizig Dreidele. Dreizig Dreidele. And I'm actually, as part of this song, going to give you the teensiest grammar lesson because I'm a Yiddish lehrerin. I can't help it. I'm a teacher. So a tiny grammar lesson as part of this song. The words are not very complicated. It's Dreizig Dreidele, right? Which means spin little dreidel. Spin little dreidel. So I'll just read through the song first so we understand it, and then I'll show you what I mean by a little interesting piece of grammar. You'll learn a little grammar today. So the lyrics are as follows. Dreh sich und dreh sich schon dreidele. So dreh sich means spin. Spin and spin and spin already. Little dreidel, right? Schon you probably have heard in Yiddish. Spin already, spin now, gives an urgency to it. And she then says, freu sich, which means be happy, rejoice, be glad. From like freilich, it's a similar root. Freu sich do, which means here, yingele, und freu sich do meidele. Have you heard the words yingel and meidel? Yingele and meidele, right? A yingele is vos.
The young
A
person.
little boy. Yo, a yingele. Und a meidele is vos.
Girl.
A little girl, right? This is for kinder, right? It's for children. And now she says, tanz in a ringele und tanz in a redele. Again, these are two other words for circle dances. A ringele, a ring, right? And a redele, from a rod, is a wheel, right? Dance in a wheel, dance in a ring, circle dancing, big on Hanukkah. And the sort of chorus is, es ist schon Hanukkah do, schon do. Es ist schon Hanukkah do is like Hanukkah is already here. It's here, you know, right? Schon do. It's here right now. And the second verse goes, ein, zwei, drei, ein, zwei, drei. And I use those in our recipe, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tanz in a redele. Ein, zwei, drei, right? Ein, zwei, drei. Jingele, meidele. Ein, zwei, drei, ein, zwei, drei. Dreh sich schon dreidele. Same as we saw here. Dance already. Dance now, dreidele. Es ist, spin, I mean. Es ist schon Hanukkah do, schon do. Hanukkah is already here. It's here. So you can see the words are not so complicated. The one thing grammar I thought would be fun to show you is, get ready for it. What is this zich? You see that? There's all these zichs around. I don't know if anyone speaks any Yiddish in the room, but if you do or you don't, you might have noticed this zich. What is it? What is it doing? Right? So I want to show you what that means by comparing two sentences, okay? So let's think of the English sentences. I spin the dreidel, right? Maybe I'll write. We have an English sentence, you know? I spin the dreidel. Make it a color. Yo, oh, not that color. I spin the dreidel. Okay, fine. Yeah. And another sentence, the dreidel spins. I should probably write it like that. What's the difference between those two sentences? Yeah. It's kind of interesting. We think about I spin the dreidel and the dreidel spins.
Who's doing the action?
Exactly. It's the nature of the verb. English doesn't make a distinction. It's the same verb to spin. I spin, the dreidel spins, but one of them takes an object. I spin the dreidel. It's me taking the verb spin and giving it an action onto an object. We call that a transitive verb. It's not important, right? And the dreidel spins, the dreidel is spinning itself. It's not being done to anything else. So English doesn't make a distinction between that. You just have to know from the context or the nature of the sentence, right? Which kind of a verb it is. Is it being a spinning action on something else or itself? But Yiddish does make a distinction. And how do we do that? Zich. So the verb to spin in Yiddish is the verb drehen. That means to spin. So if I wanted to say, I spin the dreidel, I would use drehen without the zich. Ich dreh das dreidel. Entschuldig. Ich dreh das dreidel. Ich dreh das dreidel. That means I spin the dreidel. No zich. I spin it. But if I want to say the dreidel spins, right, what do? I have to use the zich. Das dreidel dreht sich. You see that yeah.
Isn't it reflexive? Like
It's the
spins
reflexive
itself?
pronoun. Exactly.
Okay.
If I just said das dreidel dreht without the zich, it's like it spins what? It demands an object. But with the zich, it spins itself. It's the one doing the spinning. So you'll see those all over the place in Yiddish, and often that's what that zich is doing. So that's what it's doing here in this song. So we have dreizig, which means not spin the dreidel. It means spin yourself, dreidel, turn around in a circle. Dreizig und dreizig und dreizig schon dreidele. I'm talking to the dreidel and not to the children, right? Not spinning a dreidel, but turn around in a circle. Same with the freizig, just to point this out, right? Freien means to make something happy, to make something glad. With the zich, I'm making myself glad, rejoice. But I could do it to something else. Yiddish has these kinds of verbs, right? Without the zich, it takes an object or a person or something. It's an action I'm doing to somebody. With the zich, I'm doing it to myself. I'm the one doing it. So that's what that zich is doing in both of these verbs, dreizig and freizig. That is my grammar lesson. Is that sort of clear? Is that interesting? Yeah. So a little bit of Yiddish grammar, because I think it's interesting. And it's something that doesn't make sense in English. We don't do it in English. Lots of languages do have reflexive verbs like that. French, there are various languages that do, but English doesn't. Yiddish does. And it does it with zich all the time. So we're going to listen to the song, Wir haben Zeit. Thank goodness I'm not going to sing it. We're going to listen to by the Lori Kahan Simon Ensemble. I believe is what I have. Yo, just checking. Yes. So it's the, if you're interested, the Lori Kahan Simon Ensemble made a CD in 2006, a compactal, we say in Yiddish, a CD, called Chanukah is Freilich, a Yiddish Chanukah celebration, a whole CD of Yiddish Chanukah songs, if you're curious to hear them. So we're going to listen to her do it, and hopefully this will work. Doesn't work? Let me know. So, let's see. Can you hear it? Yes? Okay. Turn it down a little bit.
Dreizig und dreizig und dreizig, schein dreidele, freizig tot jingele, dreizig tot meidele, tanzen a ringele, tanzen a reidele, es ist schon kannige do, schon do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, tanzen a reidele, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, jingele, meidele, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, dreizig schon dreidele, es ist schon kannige do, schon do.
There's a little klezmer interlude.
Dreizig und dreizig scheint dreidele, freizig du jingele, freizig du meidele, tanzen a ringele, tanzen a reidele, es ist schon kannige do, schon do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, tanzen a reidele, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, jingele, meidele, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, dreizig schon dreidele, es ist schon kannige do, schon do. 30 und 30 und 30 schon dreidele, freizig du jingele, freizig du meidele, tanzen a ringele, tanzen a reidele, es ist schon kannige do, schon do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, tanzen a reidele, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, jingele, meidele, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, dreizig schon dreidele, es ist schon kannige do, schon do.
Go. Say it fun. I love. I love that one, and it's only in Yiddish. Ich habe das nicht gehört auf English. I've never heard it in English, so I don't know if it's ever been done. Maybe it has. Besser auf Yiddish, wie wir sagen, right? Yeah. So that's the end of the main part of our program. We have now learned our Yiddish Hanukkah songs. We have read the story of Hanukkah in Yiddish. We have made latkes in Yiddish. We have played dreidel in Yiddish. We've done a lot. We're just about the end of the evening because we did start late, and I don't want to keep you guys too late. To point out what else is in your booklets, there are a few Kloles und Sprichwörter. Yeah. Kloles und Sprichwörter. Kloles are curses. Sprichwörter are proverbs, sayings. So there's a couple of them. This one's kind of the funniest one. If you're interested in Jewish foods, they're all here. Maybe we'll do this one because it's kind of funny. So here's all the Jewish foods all together. Ashkenazi Jewish foods. So this is a curse. So it starts with, should you do something, right? So it says, essen sollst du. So should you eat? Here's what you should eat. Gehackte Leber mit Zibelis. Here it is here, right? Gehackte Leber mit Zibelis. Schmalzhering. Very good. Joich mit Knedlich, right? The joich mit Knedlich. Matzo ball soup. Yeah. Joich is soup, chicken soup. What else do we have? Karp mit chrein. Here's karp. Here's chrein, horseradish. Eingedämpft mit Zimmes, sort of a stew. Zimmes is a vegetable stew. Eingedämpft is a fleisch, beef. Latkes, that one we know now. Latkes. Tee mit Zitrin. Tee mit Zitrin. And should you eat all of this, essen sollst du all of this, jeden Tag, every day, right? Und sollst sich mit jedem Biss der sticken. So, right, you see what the punchline is, right? Eat all of this, the best food in the whole world, the schmaltz herring and the yoich and the tzimmes, and choke on every bite. So that's a Yiddish curse, just to amuse you. So there's a few other things, and I put in your booklet, they're all from yiddishwit.com. They made these beautiful illustrations. They're lovely. You can check it out, yiddishwit.com, right? As an ornament Hun is oder krank oder die Hun. When a poor man eats a chicken, either he's sick or the chicken's sick. One of them is sick, right? Yeah, these kinds of things. So you can amuse yourself with the rest of those on your own. Before we go, I just want to, for 1 second, let me keep you for 2 more minutes. Okay, just 2 minutes, because I want to just mention a little bit about the UJA Committee for Yiddish, whom I'm here representing, and our upcoming programs. So if you look in the back of your booklet, those of you who have booklets, you will see that I've put our winter 2023 Yiddish classes. So just a little bit, if you've never heard of us, we're part of UJA. We're funded by UJA. We've been around a long time, many decades. Many of us are in the room today. The mandate of our organization is to promote Yiddish language and culture in our community, which was once Toronto and is now global, truly, right? So we do that in many ways. The 2 most important are Yiddish classes. I'm one of our Yiddish teachers. And we have classes at all kinds of levels, and you can check out our classes. Please register if you're interested, beginner through advanced. And we organize and co-sponsor lectures, musical programs like this evening, other kinds of programs with prominent scholars, with Yiddish Kulturtuers, as we say, doers and shakers, musicians, artists, both in Yiddish and in English about Yiddish. So please, if you're interested, visit our website, www.committeeforyiddish.com. We have all the information about our classes. You can register. You can watch recordings of all of our programs in the last couple of years. We've done all kinds of interesting things during the pandemic in Yiddish and English, partnering with folks in Los Angeles, partnering with folks all over the place. Please check it out. I think you'll enjoy some of those programs. And if you have any further questions about our classes, about our programs, our email address is on the booklet, on our website. You can email me. My address is also on the front of your booklet, my email address. Send us an email, connect with us, take a Yiddish class if you're interested. We'd love to have you join us for a program or a class in the coming year. So the final thing we're going to learn before I let you go is how to say Happy Hanukkah, just to refresh our memories. Yeah. So in Yiddish, we say,
Freilichen Chanukah.
Azoi, a
Chanukah.
freilichen Chanukah. Yeah.
Freilichen Chanukah.
Sehr gut, sehr gut. Äußerst gewöhnlich.
Sehr gut.
Wonderful. A freilichen Chanukah.
Freilichen Chanukah.
So thank you so much, everyone. A hartlichen Dank. Thank you for joining us for our program this evening. Put a little Yiddish in your Hanukkah, or put a little Hanukkah in your Hanukkah. Thanks, everyone. So you're welcome to dash away. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.